Now I'm going to remove these two Phillips and these two Phillips in order to take that off. There are two Phillips screws in here that hold the wiring for your power incoming, and then the power going to the motor to your control panel. In order to get this piece off, there are three Phillips screws on the back side here. You got some two Allen screws, and then you got the screw here, this plate, and then here, and then you got a nut that you got to take off the circuit breaker. This switch needs to be removed from the panel instead of just disconnecting the wires. One method is you can take a picture to make sure you put them back in the same place. But in this case, because there's two blacks, two whites, what I did is I numbered it here on the switch and then on the plug. So 1 1 2 2 and then 3 3 4 4, just so they go back in the same spot. Taking this nut off the circuit breaker. This switch here had a T30 screw on it, and the switch itself does not want to budge, come off. I put penetrating oil on it and let it soak, and it still does not want to come off. I'll just let it sit for a little bit longer, but I can't take this off unless this comes off, or the switch comes off. It may not be in every case. I had to use this small pry bar to get the switch off. And basically I just ran it along the edges and then it popped off. And it is notched here so you can only put it in one place. Now the front panel can be removed to get to these screws right here, and they're Allen head screws. That one wasn't even tight. That one's not even tight. This is now the back of the planer. And there are two Phillips screws here. I forgot to record it, but I did remove this cover that's got 3 T30 screws that go in here to cover this side over here. On this side there are 4 screws that hold this panel in, plus you got to remove the screw on the wheel itself. And this one does have a washer on it. Allen bolts that are in the handles, all 4 of them, need to come off, and you can see here where the handle is notched, so it holds this piece down. So the handles do have to come off in order to access or get the cover off. So there's one. There are 2 Phillips screws right here for these grounding wires. So those have to come off in order to get this off. And you gotta get your Phillips screwdriver just the right angle to get the screws out. So everything is out of the cover at this point. The electrical cables are still going to the cover. But in order to get this cover off, you basically lift the front part and then slide it over the exhaust port right here to get it off. And that will give you access to the motor. So since I know I'm going to be taking the motor off, I need to get the belt off. In order to get the belt off, what I'm going to do is take one of the Allen screws out of this sprocket while holding this idler arm down and undo it. And it's a good idea to take a picture or have video so that you know exactly where everything goes back. Can't get my Allen wrench off the screw. So that allows you to take the chain and the sprocket off. And I'm going to take this off, and you want to be careful because of the spring that's on this. You don't want it going flying off and then can't find it. Or to get the belt off without having to pull the pulley wheel off, what you can do is rotate the belt while pushing the belt to the outside. I already kind of started it. This would actually be easier with 2 people because you also have to push down on this in order to get the blades to rotate freely. I just need to find something to put on there to hold it down. This is something you can easily pinch your fingers doing, so just be cautious of that. I did put a weight, a hammer, up on top of that switch so that the wheel turns freely. Now what I'm going to do is pull the belt to the outside slowly while rotating. And I'm using this panel tool just to keep my fingers out of there. There you go, belt is off. I'm going to put all these parts back on just to avoid having any issues trying to find them, or, well, lose them and having to try to find them. The only thing is I'm going to leave the belt off for now. Alright, so that's all back on, tightened up. These little grommets that they put on the electrical wires, you can see this is one that I've already removed, and you can see, so the way this goes over the cable, and then this other piece locks down onto the cable as you plug it into the hole. In order to get it off, what you have to do is take a flat tip screwdriver, and this one's partially already off, but if you push on this portion of it, push in and down, it'll unplug it basically, and then you should be able to push it through and undo this piece here, which you can then pull off. This piece here that you can pull off so that you can pull your cables through. And the only one I was really concerned with getting out was this one. This one doesn't necessarily have to come out, but you can take it out if you choose to. I didn't necessarily need to remove all of these pieces in order to get to the motor, but I did think it would be a good idea to take off different parts just to give others an idea of how to remove some of these parts on the planer. I hope that this video is a benefit to others. These are the tools you'll need to remove the cover, and to get to the motor and remove the motor, and then also break down the motor.